On May 7, 2024, DeepSeek released an open-source model called DeepSeek Vivi-2, offering an unprecedented cost-performance ratio. The inference cost was reduced to just 1 RMB per million tokens, 1/7 of Llama 370B's cost, and 1/70th of GPT-4 Turbo's. As DeepSeek quickly earned the nickname the Pinduoduo of AI, major Chinese tech giants like ByteDance, Tencent, Baidu, and Alibaba couldn't sit still and followed suit with price cuts. This marked the beginning of China's large-scale AI model price war. In Silicon Valley, DeepSeek has been dubbed the mysterious force from the East. Semi-Analysis chief analyst called the DeepSeek Vi-2 research paper possibly the best of the year. Former OpenAI employee Andrew Carr described it as full of astonishing wisdom and applied its training configurations to his own model. Meanwhile, Jack Clark, former policy director at OpenAI and co-founder of Anthropic, remarked that DeepSeek has hired a group of enigmatic geniuses and suggested that Chinese-made AI models, like drones and electric vehicles, would become an undeniable force in the global market. On July 17, 2024, Waves, a column under 36KR, interviewed the low-profile CEO of DeepSeek, Liang Wenfeng. Below is the interview content.
After the release of the DeepSeek Vive-2 model, it quickly triggered a fierce price war in the large model market. Some say you are a disruptive force in the industry.
We never intended to be a catfish in the industry. We just accidentally became one.
Were you surprised by this outcome?
It was completely unexpected. We didn't anticipate that pricing would be such a sensitive topic. We simply followed our own pace, calculated costs, and set our prices accordingly. Our principle is not to subsidize losses, nor to seek excessive profits. This price is just slightly above our costs with a small profit margin.
Just 5 days later, Zhipu AI followed suit. And soon after, major tech giants like ByteDance, Alibaba, Baidu, and Tencent also joined in.
AI lowered the price of an entry-level product, but models at the same level as ours are still expensive. ByteDance was the first to truly follow suit, reducing the price of its flagship model to match ours, which then triggered other major companies to cut their prices. Since the costs for big tech companies are much higher than ours, we didn't expect anyone to take losses to do this. Ultimately, it turned into the typical internet-era subsidy competition.
From an outsider's perspective, these price cuts seem like a competition to capture users, just like the typical price wars of the internet era.
User acquisition is not our primary goal. One reason we lowered our prices is that, in our exploration of next-generation model structures, our costs naturally decreased. Another reason is that we believe both APIs and AI should be affordable and accessible to everyone.
Before this, most Chinese companies would directly copy the Llama architecture of this generation to build applications. Why did you choose to innovate from the model structure instead?
If the goal is to build applications, then adopting the Llama structure and launching products quickly is a reasonable choice. But our goal is AGI, which means we need to explore new model architectures that push the boundaries of model capabilities under limited resources. This foundational research is necessary for scaling up to larger models. Beyond architecture, we've also conducted extensive research on data construction and ways to make models more human-like, all of which are reflected in our released models. Moreover, the Llama structure has fallen behind global advancements by approximately 2 generations in terms of training efficiency and inference costs.
Where does this technological gap mainly come from?
First, there's a gap in training efficiency. We estimate that the best domestic level still lags behind the best international level by a factor of 2 in terms of model structure and training dynamics. This means we need twice the computing power to achieve the same results. Additionally, there's about a twofold gap in data efficiency, meaning we require twice the amount of training data and compute resources to reach similar performance. Combined, this results in 4 times the computing cost. Our mission is to continuously narrow these gaps.
Most Chinese companies choose to develop both models and applications. So why is DeepSeek currently focused solely on research and exploration?
We believe the most important thing right now is to participate in the global wave of innovation. For many years, Chinese companies have been accustomed to leveraging foreign technological innovations and monetizing applications domestically. But this should not be taken for granted. In this wave of AI development, our goal is not to make a quick buck, but to push the entire ecosystem forward by staying at the forefront of technology.
In the internet and mobile internet era, the prevailing belief was that the US excels at technological innovation while China is better at applications.
As China's economy grows, we must transition from being mere beneficiaries of global innovation to active contributors. Over the past 30 years of the IT revolution, we have largely been absent from fundamental technological innovation. Many have taken Moore's law for granted, assuming that simply waiting 18 months at home will bring better hardware and software. Scaling laws have been treated the same way. However, these advancements didn't fall from the sky. They were the result of relentless innovation from Western-led technology communities. Because we weren't involved in the process, we've often overlooked its significance.
Why did DeepSeek V2 surprise so many people in Silicon Valley?
In the US, where technological breakthroughs happen daily, our actions might seem unremarkable. The reason they are surprised is that a Chinese company is participating in their game as an innovator rather than a follower. Most Chinese companies are used to following rather than leading in innovation.
However, in the Chinese context, this choice seems extravagant. Large-scale AI models require heavy investment, and not every company has the capital to focus solely on research and innovation without prioritizing commercialization.
The cost of innovation is undoubtedly high. The previous reliance on leveraging foreign advancements was shaped by China's past economic conditions. But today, China's economic scale, along with the profits of major companies like ByteDance and Tencent, is globally significant. The lack of innovation isn't due to a shortage of capital, but rather a lack of confidence and an understanding of how to effectively organize high-density talent to drive innovation.
Why do Chinese companies, including well-funded tech giants, so easily make rapid commercialization their top priority?
For the past 30 years, the primary focus has been on making money, often at the expense of innovation. But true innovation isn't solely commercially driven. It requires curiosity and a passion for creation. The past mindset was shaped by historical circumstances, but it is also temporary.
Ultimately, you are a commercial organization, not a nonprofit research institution. You choose to innovate and then share your work through open source. So where will you build your competitive moat? For example, this time in May, your MLA architecture innovation will likely be copied by others soon, right?
When it comes to disruptive technologies, closed-source strategies provide only temporary protection. Even OpenAI's closed-source approach cannot prevent it from being overtaken. That's why we place our value in our team. As our colleagues grow through this journey, accumulating knowledge and building a culture of innovation that becomes our true competitive advantage. Open sourcing and publishing research papers don't actually lead to losses. For technologists, being followed is a source of pride. In reality, open sourcing is more of a cultural act than a business one. Giving back is an additional form of honor. A company that embraces this philosophy also fosters a culture that attracts top talent.
What do you think of market-driven perspectives like those of Zhu Xiaohu?
Zhu Xiaohu's approach is internally consistent, but his strategy is more suited for companies focused on quick profits. If you look at the most profitable U.S. companies, they are all deep tech firms that have taken a long-term approach.
But in large-scale AI models, pure technological leadership is rarely enough to establish an absolute advantage. What is the bigger bet you are making?
We see that China's AI industry cannot remain in a perpetual state of catching up. People often say China's AI lags the US by 1 or 2 years, but the real gap is between original innovation and imitation. If this doesn't change, China will always be a follower. Some explorations are simply unavoidable. NVIDIA's dominance isn't just the effort of one company, but the collective achievement of the entire Western tech ecosystem and industry. They can foresee the next technological trends and have a clear roadmap. For China's AI development, a similar ecosystem is necessary. Many domestic chip projects struggle because they lack a supporting technological community and rely only on second-hand information. That's why China must have players at the cutting edge of technology.
Right now, DeepSeek has an early OpenAI-like idealistic spirit and remains open source. Will you eventually move toward a closed-source model? OpenAI and Mistral both transitioned from open to closed source.
We won't go closed source. We believe that fostering a strong technological ecosystem comes first.
Do you have any fundraising plans? Some media reports suggest that high flyer Wenfeng intends to spin off DeepSeek for an independent IPO. In Silicon Valley, most AI startups eventually have to align with major tech companies.
We have no immediate plans for fundraising. Our challenge has never been a lack of money, but rather restrictions on high-end chips.
Many believe that developing AGI and quantitative trading are two completely different things. Quant trading can be done quietly, but AGI may require a more high-profile approach and strategic alliances to scale investments.
More investment doesn't necessarily lead to more innovation. Otherwise, major corporations could monopolize all breakthroughs.
Are you avoiding applications now because you lack operational expertise?
We believe we are currently in an era of technological innovation, rather than application explosion. In the long run, we aim to build an ecosystem where the industry directly utilizes our technology and output. We will focus on foundational models and cutting-edge research, while other companies build B2B and B2C businesses on top of DeepSeek. If a complete industry chain emerges, we won't need to develop applications ourselves. Of course, if necessary, we are capable of doing so, but research and innovation will always be our top priority.
If choosing an API provider, why should someone choose DeepSeek over major tech companies?
The future world is likely to be characterized by specialized divisions of labor. Foundational models require continuous innovation, and big companies have their own limitations. They are not necessarily the best fit for everything.
But can technology alone really create a significant gap? You have mentioned before that there are no absolute technological secrets.
Technology has no secrets, but resetting takes time and cost. NVIDIA's graphics cards, in theory, have no technical secrets and are easy to replicate. However, reorganizing a team and catching up with the next generation of technology takes time, so the actual moat remains wide.
After you lowered prices, ByteDance was the first to follow. This suggests they felt some level of threat. What is your perspective on how startups can compete with tech giants in new ways?
To be honest, we don't really care about this matter. We just happen to do it along the way. Providing cloud services is not our main goal. Our goal is still to achieve AGI. At present, there are no new solutions in sight, but big companies don't have a clear advantage either. While they have existing users, their cash flow businesses are also their burden, making them potential targets for disruption.
What do you think about the eventual outcomes for the other 6 major AI startups in China?
In the end, probably only 2 or 3 companies will survive. Right now, everyone is still in the money-burning phase, so those with a clear self-positioning and refined operations have a better chance of making it. Other companies may undergo drastic transformations. Valuable things won't just vanish. They will reappear in another form.
High flyer, Wenfeng, has always been described as doing things in its own way, rarely concerned with horizontal comparisons. What is your fundamental perspective on competition?
What I often think about is whether something can improve the efficiency of societal operations, and whether one can find a suitable position within its industrial chain. As long as the ultimate outcome increases efficiency, it is justified. Many things in between are just temporary phases. Over-focusing on them is bound to be overwhelming.
Jack Clark, former policy director at OpenAI and co-founder of Anthropic, said DeepSeek has hired a group of enigmatic geniuses. Who are the people behind DeepSeek V2?
There are no profound geniuses here, just top university graduates, PhD students, interns in their 4th or 5th year, and young professionals who graduated only a few years ago.
Many large AI companies are aggressively recruiting overseas talent. Some believe that the top 50 experts in this field are not working for Chinese companies. Where do your people come from?
The V2 model had no overseas returnees. It was built entirely by local talent. The top 50 AI researchers may not be in China, but perhaps we can nurture such talent ourselves.
How did the MLA innovation happen? I heard that the idea initially came from a young researcher's personal curiosity.
After summarizing the major evolutionary patterns of the attention mechanism, one of our researchers had a sudden inspiration to design an alternative. However, the journey from idea to implementation was long. We assembled a team and spent months validating the concept.
The emergence of such divergent inspiration seems closely related to your organization's structure, which emphasizes pure innovation. In the high flyer days, you rarely assign top-down targets or tasks. But AGI is an uncertain frontier. Has that required more management interventions?
At DeepSeek, everything is bottom-up. We don't assign roles in advance. Natural division of labor emerges organically. Each person has unique experiences and ideas, requiring no external push. When they encounter problems, they initiate discussions. However, when an idea shows potential, we do allocate resources top-down.
I heard that DeepSeek is highly flexible in allocating computing resources and talent.
We have no limits on accessing GPUs or mobilizing people. If someone has an idea, they can use the training cluster's GPUs anytime without approval. Since we don't have hierarchical structures or interdepartmental barriers, people can also freely collaborate as long as both sides are interested.
A loosely managed structure also relies on attracting people who are strongly driven by passion. I heard you are very skilled at recruiting through subtle indicators, identifying talented individuals who might not stand out through traditional evaluation metrics.
Our hiring standard has always been based on passion and curiosity. As a result, many of our team members have unique and interesting backgrounds. Many of them have a stronger desire to do research than to make money.
The Transformer was born in Google's AI lab, and ChatGPT came from OpenAI. What are the differences in innovation between a corporate AI lab and an AI startup?
Whether it's Google's research labs, OpenAI, or the AI labs of Chinese tech giants, they all have value. OpenAI happened to be the one that made the breakthrough. But history always involves randomness.
Is innovation largely a matter of chance? I noticed that the meeting rooms in your office have doors that can be freely pushed open from both sides. Your colleagues say this is meant to create space for serendipitous interactions. A similar moment of serendipity reportedly played a role in the birth of the Transformer. Someone overheard a discussion, joined in, and helped turn it into a general framework.
I believe innovation is fundamentally a matter of conviction. Why does Silicon Valley have such a strong culture of innovation? First, It dares to take risks. When ChatGPT was released, the entire Chinese tech scene, from investors to big companies, lacked confidence in frontier innovation. They thought the gap was too wide and preferred to focus on applications instead. But innovation starts with self-confidence, which is often more prominent in young people.
But since you don't participate in fundraising and rarely engage in public relations, your visibility is lower than those actively raising capital. How do you ensure that DeepSeek remains the top choice for people working on large AI models?
We are working on the hardest problem. The biggest attraction for top-tier talent is solving the world's toughest challenges. In fact, top talent in China is often underestimated because there has been too little hardcore innovation at the societal level, preventing them from being recognized. Since we are tackling the hardest problem, it naturally attracts them.
During OpenAI's recent announcement, there was no GPT-5 release. Many believe the technology curve is clearly slowing down, and some have even begun questioning scaling laws. What is your take on this?
We are generally optimistic. The entire industry seems to be progressing as expected. OpenAI is not a god. It won't always be ahead.
How long do you think it will take to achieve AGI? Before releasing DeepSeek Vi-2, you launched models focused on code generation and mathematics, and you also transitioned from dense models to MoE. What are the key milestones on your AGI roadmap?
It could take 2 years, 5 years, or even 10 years, but we believe AGI will be achieved within our lifetime. As for the roadmap, even within our company, there is no unified opinion. However, we are betting on 3 key directions: mathematics and code, multimodal learning, and natural language itself. Mathematics and code are AGI's natural testing grounds. Similar to Go, they form a closed, verifiable system where high intelligence might be achieved through self-learning. On the other hand, multimodal learning, engaging with the real world, might also be necessary for AGI. We remain open to all possibilities.
What do you think the endgame for large AI models will look like?
There will be dedicated companies providing foundational models and services, forming a long chain of specialized divisions. More people will focus on building diverse applications on top of these models to meet society's needs.
Over the past year, there have been many changes in China's AI startup landscape. For example, Wang Wenfeng, who was very active at the beginning of last year, eventually stepped back, and newer entrants have started to differentiate themselves.
Wang Wenfeng personally took on all the financial losses, allowing others to walk away unscathed. He made a decision that was least favorable to himself, but best for everyone else. I really respect him for that. It shows great integrity.
Where is most of your focus right now?
Our main focus is on researching the next generation of large models. There are still many unsolved problems.
Most other AI startups are taking a both-and approach, building both models and applications, because technical superiority doesn't last forever. Capturing the market window by turning technology into products is crucial. Is DeepSeek focused purely on model research because the models are not yet strong enough?
All current business models are products of the past, and they may not apply to the future. Discussing AI's future business model using traditional internet logic is like discussing General Electric or Coca-Cola's business strategies when Tencent was just starting out. It's likely an outdated perspective.
In the past, Highflyer had strong technological and innovation capabilities and grew successfully. Is that why you remain optimistic?
Quandeng, to some extent, strengthened our confidence in technology-driven innovation. But it hasn't been a smooth journey. We've gone through a long period of accumulation. The outside world only sees the part of Quandeng after 2015. But in reality, we had already been working for 16 years.
Returning to the topic of original innovation, now that the economy is slowing down and capital is entering a cooling phase, will this suppress breakthrough innovation?
I don't think China's economic transition will hinder innovation. In fact, it will increasingly depend on hardcore technological advancements. Many people who used to make quick money are now realizing that their success was largely due to historical luck. Once they recognize this, they'll be more willing to engage in real innovation.
So, are you still optimistic about this?
I grew up in a fifth-tier city in Guangdong in the 1980s. My father was a primary school teacher. In the 1990s, there were many opportunities to make money in Guangdong. Many parents came to our house, convinced that studying was useless. But looking back now, attitudes have completely changed. Making money isn't easy anymore. Some people can't even find taxi driving jobs. A single generation was enough to change the mindset. Hardcore innovation will only become more common. Right now, it's not well understood because society as a whole still needs to be educated by reality. Once those who drive hardcore innovation achieve success, public perception will shift. We just need more real-world examples and time to make it happen.